Mid-afternoon to early evening, 4:07 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Wednesday, February 7th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So, I want to thank everybody who tunes into this live, or even tunes in after the live is over. I needed to come on a little bit earlier today. I know it's not 6:30, but our 10-year-old has an orchestra concert that we have to be at the school at around 5:20. Actually, somewhere around there at 5:20. So I wanted to do about an hour live. Well, depending on the back and forth, see how many people are interested in this live. And not just that, just to see how much we have to cover. Because sometimes the interest comes after it's posted. So I wanted to come on while Bitcoin was up over 1,100 points and see exactly the direction we can go. I wanted to talk about XRP and XLM in particular because I think XLM might be a little bit, I don't want to say it's lagging behind, but I can definitely see an opportunity presenting itself with XLM. So that's definitely something I'm interested in taking a further look at. So we'll take a deep look into XLM's chart. We've got XRP right now that's up 1.62%. And it looks like with what Bitcoin's presenting right now, especially if Bitcoin keeps moving, 44,000 was that key point, how it came back within the bull flag, even though we're in a broadening wedge. That bull flag resistance at 44,000, getting over that, that's a big deal if we can continue this kind of momentum. So if you are tuning in, please make sure to hit that like button and consider sharing this on social media so that we can help expand the audience. Without each and every one of you, I cannot do what I do. And it makes it that much more important to have each and every one of you here when times like this are going on, so you can hear it from me, you can hear it from the community, and you'll be able to trust the word that's going on. I gave you out a tip yesterday about algo. It's up 3.76% today. H bar we talked about yesterday, but right now, if you didn't take an opportunity in there, I actually have been kind of impressed by where XLM is right now in comparison. So that's why I'm going to detail that. So we'll get through what we can. I'll turn the comments on, but I just want you all to know I appreciate each and every one of you. It's very important that we're all together here because we can go through the no FUD. You know, that's why I always say the FUD stops here. Because in the world of YouTube, I seriously, it feels like the legend was created in 2021 in a time of FUD. We said enough of it. The FUD stops here. That's just that simple. So, and there's a reason for that. You got to be impartial. So let me get to what I was going to say about XLM before. Who knows if it goes up or down, but I'd rather say it before it starts running if it's going to. So, true, good late afternoon, welcome in. Rob, good afternoon, and thank you for being in Tom's Army in month 6 with the XRP emoji, or the XRP meteor. That means a lot to me to see that that badge. I thank you for showing support for the pay it forward mindset. It is incredibly important to see those emoji badges going around this community because you literally, the ones who do have that emoji badges fund this content. It's that simple because I don't do anything out of the ordinary by accepting sponsorships and that kind of stuff. So just be extra nice to the people with the emoji badges because they definitely do more than I can even put into words for what I'm trying to do here. Basically, the ones with the emoji badges help fund what I do. And that means allow me to do this and put out what I think is good content for our fellow audience. And I can do it for free. You know, so that, and you never know, that may not have been the case when I started, had it not been the generosity of the people starting Tom's Army. That was what I wanted. But, you know, you still need funding. Your time's still worth something. So I acknowledge each and every one of the members of Tom's Army because they're more important than anybody can even understand. Michael, good afternoon. Richard, welcome in. I appreciate seeing you in here. So, yeah, that's where we stand with the cryptos right now. As you can see, XLM's only up about not even 0.75% yet today. XRP starting to get to about that 2% mark. Miss Vicky, welcome in. Yes, please make sure to hit that like button, everybody. And Miss Vicky, thank you for being in Tom's Army for at least 5 months with that XRP predictor badge. So very generous of you. And everybody else who just, you don't even understand how important it is. It's just, thank you so much. You know, because it's my vision to have my own content, to have my own station. And the generosity definitely allows me to do this. But look, everybody, what I'm seeing with the XLM, if this actually, it came down into the bottom of the formation, if this is ready now, I'm telling you, this should come up somewhere over here. And we should be able to test here to see if this is a W reversal or not that is actually forming here. You can see how we had that nice descending formation that was within. We came all the way down to here. And now it looks like we're starting to have a move up here. And it looks like it was lagging behind the field. To me, it does. And now, in the 4 hourly, we continue. The volume is coming down a little bit. We need to see how this candle finishes out. Or the 2 hourly, I mean. But in the 4 hourly, we finally broke over here a little bit. We finally broke over. It looks like we're starting to push around now. So if anybody wants to add anything to XLM while we're on it, I'd love to hear it. Wah, welcome in. Randad, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years. Holy smokes. Probably going closer to 3 with that 589 badge. That's the moon badge. Not that XRP was going to $589 at the end of 2023, but 58.9 cents was our vision. So I appreciate you sporting that right now, as that's the longest badge right now. The 3-year badge is right around the corner, though, because there's a few people within a couple months, which is, I can't believe it. So, but yeah, I really want to focus in for just a second here on XLM and see what everybody thinks. I think we're going to start pushing up here, though, a little bit. It looks like it. I know. Here's the thing, like, and I can show you a perfect example by going to Algo. Algo's up 3.57%. And if we just go to the 30-minute and say, you know what? Algo's overextended. Well, look what Algo's been doing all day. So imagine it gets to 80 and we're like, nope, it's too high. Well, now look, it's still going up and it's at about 84. There's still room. There's still room. And we showed this cup and handle yesterday on Algo. So yes, you're going to get retracements on every move. I acknowledge that. But if you let this play out properly, there's a big move to come here with Algo. And you know what I'll do, in fact? I will pull that. This is for H-bar. And then I need to just go in my email. And we have something to discuss further with our friend who sent this. But I don't know if I'll have time to go over it today, but we'll check. So with Algo, this is what he had sent, just so you can see the cup and handle clear. We're starting to emerge to the top side of this little downward formation here. So we'll see how long it takes. JW, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for over a year now with the I Told You So badge. Thank you so much for that. RPS, good afternoon. Miss Vicky says I'll never be out. I think you were talking about the emoji badges. I appreciate that. See, as long as I have my supporters, I can always be here. It's that simple. You know? So yeah, that's with Algo. But with Algo, the whole point was that we were already into the overbought, but that's only in the 30-minute time frame. So as you go through some of the other indicators, it's not as bad. The 3 hourly now is pushing into overbought, but you have a lot of room to come up still. Daily time frame's got a ton of room. It's just starting to turn up. So that rally looks to be just beginning here. And we know it's in that cup and handle. This is just the handle formation. It really is just the handle formation where we're in right now. So it's like now that we start to see things, is XLM going to be coming up to something where it's going to start a hefty reversal here? Because right now, if you're looking at it, you would say, oh, well, the floor for XLM now, you would want to say, well, if I'm going to attempt to go long here, you would have the floor down here below the low support at 10.7 roughly, because that's the descending formation. But I really do feel like I see something forming here with XLM. And I know we haven't talked a lot about XLM with opportunity, but am I crazy, or does this look like opportunity is presenting itself and it's starting to come down or come up out of that descending formation, even in the shorter time? Like it's starting to make it at least a push up to see how we'll react up in this area around 11, maybe 11.08. Does that sound right to everybody? Because that's what it looks like it's about to happen to me. We've already had that downward consolidation. It looks like a small V-shaped recovery here. Almost looks tailor-made. And when I say V-shaped recovery, I targeted it from right here at the end. So that tells me that maybe we just pulled... Whoops. I feel like maybe we just pulled out of this. And that's maybe our first hint. So if that's the case, we'll probably come up here pretty unopposed. And I understand. That is not a huge move. And I understand people, oh my God, he's talking about a move that's less than, what is this right now? About 1.8%. It's not about how big the move is. It's about the fact that we can come up here. It's actually a little higher. Because if you're looking at the structure we're in, that's about 2.79%. The point is that it looks like that we're about to start moving up in the positive direction here. And if that's the case for XLM, what does that mean for XRP? We'll get into that in just a second as well. And Bitcoin as it's up. We're going to go into Bitcoin before we get into XRP. But you can see this starting to be, was more of a broadening wedge, and it's getting to the top side of this. It's broadening on the top, uptrending resistance. I wouldn't necessarily say it's you know what? I lied. Definitely could be a broadening wedge. It pushed out the top side. Honestly. Because if I did go like this, couldn't we say that was broadening? And maybe, I mean, it kind of is. Because I would have to come like this. This is a 2 hour, though, obviously, the other time frames. Or you could come from the other direction, but I don't know. All I know, so we don't have to speculate, I know that something's starting to turn up here. It looks like it's starting to turn up here. And it had such a downturn that I would not be surprised if in the next couple days, I don't know if it would necessarily happen in one day, but I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we're looking at something like this. And it's going to take a little bit of work, but I would not be surprised if we're looking at maybe even something like this where it continues to come through. But I expect this to start turning up here and tell us a direction here. We need to know a direction. Are we bullish or bearish? We already showed that we're somewhat still holding on to not falling out bearish because we held that support. So now we need to come up and see if that resistance holds to see if this pattern is going to continue. That's where we're at right now, I think, with XLM. I'm open for interpretation. I would love to see it. Fed meeting is going to read good, so bad for crypto. That's speculative. XRP is up 1.66%, but first I want to get into Bitcoin. See how everything got to where it's at. Yeah, Miss Vicky, I'll go into IOTA for sure. For sure. So Bitcoin's up 1,138 points, or 2.64%. It retook the 44,000 handle up to 44,234. For some of you who are in here, we circled this formation yesterday talking about what if this was just one big left arm or an inverted right shoulder, which is what we speculated it was. But either way, if somebody was talking about head and shoulders, I thought it was going to break up. And I based that on the fact yesterday, and this is how we talked about the algo buying opportunity, which, you know, it was there. And it moved up. It's up like 3.5 or 3.7% from that time. But, you know, everybody makes an educated and informed decision. I'm not a financial advisor, so you will have to make the tough calls. Bitcoin, though, we talked about that 44,000 level where we thought it was going to come up to. Once 43,500 held, we said there's nothing even else that we can say about this. Or not 43,500. It might have been a little bit lower. Let me go to my other chart. Yeah, it was 43,500. Once that pivot point held, because now it's suggesting this isn't an inverted. Look at this. I'm not crazy here. I know it seems crazy when I talk about it weeks ahead, but now look after it form. Ready? Inverted left arm. I can almost say with confidence now, inverted head, inverted right arm. What if this comes out to the drop point and it has to create that? I mean, this has a chance to come back to the top of that wedge. This is a wedge. And we can say it's a horizontal. I don't really care how you call it. You can say, if we fix this, we could say it was a broadening wedge if we just pull it down. But I'm uncomfortable doing that underneath the inverted head because I think we have the nice, smooth, flat support here, but we have a rising resistance, uptrending. So that looks like a wedge. And you know what? If this plays true, everybody's like, well, where does it go? Well, if it plays true, depends how far you go, 50K. 47,000 is the next major pivot point, though. If this actually is breaking up, that's why I like to show you the smaller levels now. We had the bull flag that we were in before it presented itself as that wedge. But before it was showing us a bull flag, before it made that volatile swing up, it was that first resistance here where we're like, well, what the it just ruined the whole pattern, and we knew. We knew. And that's when we updated the pattern, but we kept the old just so we could see the old resistance levels and support. Right now, this is major. If 44,000 holds, your next push up is around 47K. There's nothing even really in between. You could say the smaller levels. So Vladimir, with the wick-off distribution, do you think that means we're in a bullish distribution or bearish right now? I would love to hear your opinion. Hope we do a pullback to retest breakout. Well, basically, we're doing the breakout right now. We've already retested 43,500. If this is a true breakout, you want this to volatilely spike to 47K. You want it to do it in one quick shot. Maybe even hit that resistance at this little handle here, the cup, at 46,100. Oh, yeah, definitely. I could definitely see a bull trap, 100%. I could see this as a bull trap, 100%. Bersalio, what's up? What's going on, my friend? Don't forget the like button. Yes, please don't forget the like button, our fellow friends. Please, please, please. So, yeah. So, that's Bitcoin right now. I'll let you guys savor that for a minute. We will drop into solar eclipse. That's in April. So, I think this move then, if everybody's in agreement with that, if this is an inverted head and shoulders, maybe 47,000 pivot point is the big kick in the you know what. But this looks like an inverted head and shoulders to me, and it's starting to break up. If it breaks 44K, it confirms it and holds it. Yeah, it's not going to go straight to 50K even if it goes up. But I think a volatile spike would be necessary. Like all of a sudden, Bitcoin's up 1,170. Everybody's like, oh, Bitcoin's overextended. Then we're like, well, wait a minute. It's up 3,000 now. What the hell just happened? Kind of like today, how it seemed overextended, but then all of a sudden it's up 1,100 points. And all of a sudden the new moon's what? Not tonight, but tomorrow night going into the 9th. You know, so it's pretty interesting how all of this happens. Top off at 44 to 46, yes. Yeah, AJ Edwards, I agree. That 46,000 would be interesting, but it doesn't seem to me, because if we hadn't got a retest yet, I wouldn't even be talking like this. But the fact that Bitcoin, even when it broke 44,000, I know it's not a huge sample size, but right when it broke 44,000, where was the initial 44? Where was that candle? Right here. It broke 44 and got to 44,168. This candle, if you look at it from, where was it at? Because it came slightly under. Because if it was going to come under 44 and do a long scale drop right away, that was your first chance right here. And in the 5 minute, it just said, nope, not happening. And now it's bounced up a little bit. So the question is, because of how it's pushing, before we get this breakdown, are we going to get that volatile spike where maybe it goes to 45K real quick, or it hits that 46? That's what I'm saying. 5 minute, you'd be like, oh my God, it's so overextended. But look at some of the other time frames. Just because it got into overbought, in the hourly, it's got a lot of room. 2 hourly, even more room. Even though it's going to show at the end of this 34 minutes, it's going to be a little different. 3 hourly is more accurate. But look, that's another engulfing candle. There's not much downward pressure at all. Tanya, welcome in, love. Thank you so much for being in here and being in Tom's Army for over... I got to see your badge again. I've got everything... It's all, merging in my head, and I don't want to not give you credit. XRP, somebody said about the wick off. We'll look at that in the 5 minute. But first, I want to go to Miss Vicky. I want to look at IOTA first, because it hasn't quite made the move that some others have so far today. Where the heck was I looking? Crypto Scrooge, thank you so much for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the 2-year emoji badge. You guys are awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. Where'd Tanya? Tanya, you have the I told you so badge. Yeah, I thought so. Over a year. So thank you so much, Tanya. And we'll look at H-bar real quick as well. I just got to get through my stuff today because I have an orchestra for the 10-year-old tonight. That's why I'm on right now, FYI. So IOTA. IOTA looks nice. Ooh, IOTA that looks like it's set up. in the short term. Is that on a handle as well for IOTA? I didn't even look at. Oh yeah, I did look at that before. I was talking about the rounding to finish this cup. Okay, so yeah, this makes sense. If it comes all the way up there, because this could be building. That's in the daily. Let's see how it looks in the 4 hourly, because there could have been a smaller cup that it finished. Right here, it did. So it finished this short term. It looks like this little short term cup. Now it's building the handle. And now it looks like it's getting ready to rotate back up. Miss Vicky, excellent spot. That's an excellent call. This could be in the making. This could be a cup in the making right now. Unfinished business. We already know it had a breakout. So I think you're spot on here. I think you're spot on. Let's see this formation. There's your downtrending resistance line, pretty clear. We don't even need to speculate that at all. No, this is where you speculate. Do you take it probably from here? You could. I would just do it like that, just to see if we can get out of this little structure. But it definitely looks like something's starting here. That's a good eye right there. I completely forgot about IOTA. I remember we talked about this though, that it was working on the rounding, and now it started rounding out. Look how long it took after we rounded it. It was right around here when we did it. Now it started to push out. This looks awfully familiar. This looks like look at that W reversal. This a small cup right. This looks awfully familiar. Does this look familiar to anybody? I mean, it even has this short term with the W, and then it could swing around. It's got to break the structure. How big of a gap is that? I know with the XLM one, underneath the support's like 1.6%. What's this gap? Oh, shit. That's a 27% gap. That makes it very interesting if it were to get rejected. But it could very well be disguised. This handle's disguised as a Head and Shoulders topping reversal. And this is disguised as a right arm, and it breaks up because this is bull flaggy. This is very bull flaggy. In fact, you could even break down the shorter pattern just in case, you were attempting a trade and you're trying to get frisky like a leverage style. You'd be like, all right, well, I'm not sitting in it through all of that. Well, then you have to look at it this way, and then it at least breaks it down into a smaller percentages. And then let's just say it came down. Well, now it's a 5.4%. That's still a pretty wide margin. But you have a golden cross here in the 4 hourly, according to the exponential moving averages. So a lot of interesting stuff going on there for sure with IOTA. For sure. And now we haven't even got into XRP yet. Let me get into XRP real quick. It's been 23 minutes. Thank you to the 64 people tuning in. Thank you to the 57 people that hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it. If you do get value out of my work, please consider joining Tom's Army. That is legitimately the most important thing you can do to support my community, besides hitting that like button. If you do appreciate during a live, and you're like, man, he's going from one thing to another, I want to pay it forward, you can always send a YouTube super chat. But other than that, I don't ask much out of my audience at all. So I just ask for you to be present and then help me push my content and push my dream of building this into something even bigger. Make sure you watch Crypto Scrooge as well. Make sure you watch Crypto Scrooge. I know he's got to go, but he's here on YouTube. He's building his own station as we speak. And he's almost up to 1,000 subscribers. He's really impressing me. Look at this right now, though. Bitcoin, what we just talked about, that quick move up. And XLM was undervalued when we started. I mean, I know it hasn't moved much, but it's went from 10,886 or 884, somewhere around there, to 10,915 just since we've been on. XRP's gone up about 0.2%. It's not much, but now it's up 1.78% on the day. 16 months for Tanya. Wow, 16 months in Tom's Army. Whew. But these were the opportunities we've been talking about the last few days from a leverage perspective. I know I don't speak a lot about it unless it's an opportunity, and, I hinted at it. And like my hint to everybody too was that, I did what I didn't stay in the long term as of right now for anything. It's just I'm jumping on for percentages. I got close to 30% on algo. but I had a setup that I was waiting for with XLM that it finally broke that confirmation in the 4-hourly. So we'll see how it works, because we could very well have just topped, and that's why I got out of algo. And now, not because I don't think it's topping for the structure, I think because of how far Bitcoin went, there was two things that could have happened, and XLM was better positioned because it didn't make that move. XLM algo is going to have a much bigger volatile drop down if it has to. But we'll see, because we're going to see if we end up taking this, or if this is like one last gasp and then we come back down to 44K. That's what we're watching right now. That's why it's so volatile. So if you have profits right now from a leverage perspective, you know, obviously you always have to make the best educated, informed decision for your own portfolio. But you may be watching and understanding a different setup than I am. And I would love to hear from people. Yeah, Flare, ironically, that you speak of that. Flare is another good one. It's up, where is it at? 6% right now, but I wanted to share this while I could. The Great Falling. I was waiting to see if anybody would bring up Flare. Normally somebody does. So the Great Falling, when you see him in here, has been contacting me with some charts, and I love it. So this is Flare. So yeah, it's gone up, but it looks like it's going to create a handle, and this is why I would proceed with caution with Flare. Because if it creates that handle, it's going to be down around 2 cents, possibly. So he's got an excellent projection, so just be careful. But yeah, XRP needs to come up a little bit. XRP waiting for 50-50 retest of breakout. 50.5 cents. Yep. But yeah, see, that's a perfect, this is exactly how you need to look at this. Oh, no, I'm still here. I'm still here. I have to go in a little bit because the 10-year-old has an orchestra concert. First one at the high school that she's doing at the high school today. So it should be interesting. But yeah, we could definitely pull back. It's just we're basing a lot of it around Bitcoin right now. XRP is attempting in its own self to push up. But let me go to Flare just because we talked about that. Flare, yeah, the volume is not impressive. It's definitely gone down on this push up. It seems to be going for a bearish rejection at 305. But with Bitcoin moving, you never know how much farther it wants to go. But this definitely looks like I would need to come back and retest some lower levels. Unless it just unopposes out of this 305 and pushes out and tries to fulfill a smaller run up. But it's going to be difficult. That is a nice little W reversal in the short term. There is still room. 4-hourly, it's come back down. Weekly is up there pretty high. Daily is what really needs to correct. If it does this correctly, you should correct. That doesn't go without saying that you might have a 10% run up out of nowhere. But if it does it correctly, we should be correcting here pretty substantially in the days or weeks to come. Just so, just so that we can get the proper, not just from the relative strength perspective for technical traders, but just get the ones who don't want to be in it still and are only for that little short-term rally, and see if we have buyers that continue pushing it up. If the buyers are there, the trading bots will continue to turn. It's just, that's how simple it is. It's so simple. Let's see. XRP at 51.4 cents. Everyone is waiting for smart contracts on XRP. I think Ripple will incorporate Corium. That would be a smart bet. And Corium, speaking of Corium, that's set up in quite an ominous position as well. That looks like it is forming himself a nice handle here. And 16.1's that beautiful support there. So we'll see. I mean, if there's a big potential here across the board. Oh, it's put on hold today. Beautiful. If Flare goes on a run, XRP could dump to 30 cents. You never know. It's possible. But yeah, let's look at XRP right now, the aforementioned XRP. At 51.38, up 1.72%, while I have a chance to talk with everybody. We still have a little bit more time here, but I don't want to take it to the wire before I start talking about it. But XRP, we've got this same descending structure as a lot of the board. It's not as easy to just say, oh, XRP's in a big cup and handle. But, I mean, you could say that we finished and failed it. This is a failed handle. That's why I wouldn't necessarily say it's like the rest, because that came down way too far if you're trying to say that. Unless you're trying to say that this is an overextended handle. Eh. You know, I've seen crazier things. Do I think XRP dumps? I think XRP in the short term is trying to make a run up. It's just how long does it take? You're going to have corrections all the way up. But it looks like XRP wants to see whether or not it's bullish or bearish by coming up either to the 534 point or 56 cents. I can't do Oasis today. I've got to go to my 10-year-old's orchestra concert shortly. Everybody, I do a lot of work here. If you want to show support, a recorder, that's right, recorder. I don't know why I keep saying orchestra. You can always send a YouTube super chat or join Tom's Army if you want to pay it forward. It's going to look good then. So XRP on the daily. I mean, is that a reversal candle? It's very unsure here. In the reversal, we've been coming down. It could finally be signaling that we're starting to reverse back up. Now we do have a descent or death cross here in the daily time frame, so we've got to get back above this. But it seems like to me, even if we're bearish, it almost makes me want to say it's going to come back up, but it's so volatile right now. The 4-hourly has an engulfing candle at the top side, so that helps me at least feel like, you know, this is going to come up and at least retest those areas. The 200-day and the 4-hourly will run right through that 534 here in the next couple candles as well. Stock market crash on Valentine's Day. Flare will rise in the crash. Very well might. Very well might. My Valentine's Day could have a nice little correction as well. I'm telling you, if Flare does get that correction and builds that handle, look out. Look out. That's going to be an explosive move. But XRP still in this descending triangle within the rising channel. But the short immediate pattern is this descending triangle. For what Bitcoin did today, XRP has not made the move it could make. It's just, it's got to get out of this volatile zone. It really does. Not trying to chill coins. I just wanted to get the word out, Tom. No, I respect that. I was just telling you I don't have time to cover it today because of the events I have going on. But that's, I mean, we basically got to wait to see how this plays out. This is where we're going to come to a point where it's going to be mind over matter, patience. We cannot afford to play the victim here with the market saying, oh, manipulation, and we've got the Ripple CEO coming out saying big news is expected, so we all know what that means. It's not the time to speculate. Now is the time to watch these at a minute level and try to figure this out on an even deeper level. XRP is on the tail end of a nice inverted head and shoulders pattern. Oh yeah, we've talked about the inverted head and shoulders that it's on. That it could continue with too. There's so much to look at it depending on if you're going from a shorter or longer. But XRP definitely has opportunity here. I see a setup here right now even where I see opportunity. I see opportunity. I do know that we can break it down into a smaller view just so we can be like, well, what's the major? And it's that 534. There's no other way to put it. That 534, even if you do it like this, that basically encapsulates that. You got to get past there. You get past there, we're in business for XRP. And then if you get past 56 cents, that downtrending resistance on the actual descending triangle on the top part, you got some room. And look at the daily. There is a lot of room to the top side in the daily. I think that goes unnoticed. Yeah, we're not an extreme oversold in the daily right now. But there is a lot of room if at some point this actually reverses and we get some volume in. There is a lot of room to run up here. And it's like I keep bouncing XLM and XRP off of each other because if one does it, the other does it, and they both have a lot of room. It's just I know the floor of both of them if it falls through it. And that's why I said, like, with here, you've got to look at that 10.7. With XRP, for all intents and purposes, you've got to look at, because you want to look at the lowest wick down here. You got to look at 48.5. So, I mean, that's down there a little bit. Could we say that it's on a small bull flag even because of how it bounced out? And this is where I always like to speculate. And it usually does us right. We see these little structures, and it's like, all right, even though we're bearish, it's a small bull flag. Maybe that has to fill out. Maybe that's how we get here. And then if it does get there, well, maybe that W is how we start to form something bigger. You know, like the hook and ladder in football. So we're trying to look at little dots to connect. Now, if this bounces down, the easiest connection would be if it does break this 49 cents, wherever it's at right now, maybe about 49, that then you could have an overcorrection. XRP did 5-wave run, 5-wave double zigzag, 5-wave move flat, and wall off. I need to see the rest of that comment. There's been a lot of comments. Oh, my mom just got here. Interesting. So I think I'm going to leave it at that today, folks. I did my due diligence the best I could, but I've got a lot of stuff going on here tonight. I thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you all so much. And I'm about to blow off. Yeah, it does look like it's about, I mean, there looks like there's a big blow off about to happen. It does. We just want to see if we can hold the structure and if it comes within the descending triangle or not. Thank you all. Have a blessed evening. Hopefully I'll be able to give you a little more content tonight, but I wanted to do this just in case I couldn't do anything later. Stay blessed, everybody.